if you hear from the Lord, it may not always feel the best. I love that you can correlate that type of thing to the Bible. So like Paul was writing to Timothy in First Timothy, he wasn't in prison, but in Second Timothy, he was in prison and he knew death was imminent. Like he was like, death is coming. The only reason he was being prosecuted and persecuted is because of the message he was teaching, right? And so I'm sure there would have been some that was just like, stop preaching, stop teaching. And he's like, no, this is what Jesus has mandated me to do. And so if that means that my life is on the line, I have to know that to die for Christ is better than to live outside of the will he had for me, right? And that's a hard decision to make. Like you're going to die, right? And it's a hard decision to say, no, I don't want to be evicted. No, I don't want people to look upon me as though I'm making wrong choices. But if it's worried about what they think versus worried about what I know God's telling me, I'm going to have to make the hard choice because it is hard. It's not easy to follow the will. He is the backup plan, and he would not tell you to go down a road that he will not see you through. But that does not mean that road won't come with its own deficits, right? Like if we always talk about that, Naomi and Ruth, there was death, there was loss is the reason why Ruth was able to eventually meet Boaz. But everybody praises that she met Boaz and she was a part of Jesus's lineage. Or we forget the widow woman in 2 Kings 4 that she's like, they're coming to take my sons and they're going to make them slaves until they can pay off my husband's debt, my husband who has passed. And he's like, what do you have in your house, right? And she says, all I have is a little bit of oil. Okay, well, gather up as many vessels as you can. Everybody celebrates that the oil didn't stop flowing until all the vessels were full. We can all rejoice over that. But when she first saw him, she went to the prophet and said, oh my God, they're coming. So imagine like what the angst was and is. So when we get in those moments where it feels like nobody understands or nobody really is like getting why we are doing what we're doing, and it may not even make sense to us, right? Then you have to read and you have to remind yourself that sometimes it doesn't make sense. It won't make sense, but that's because he knows down the street, around the corner, 10 years down the road, he knows the end from the beginning. And all of these are the stepping stones of faith that we need, uncomfortable and all.